His jeans were skimmed with mud that was already drying to powder. He must have been walking near the creek that cut through the Stardust Ranch's 4,000 acres. Dressed like that, he couldn't possibly have been one of the wedding guests, most of whom possessed unimaginable fortunes. As his gaze swept over me, I knew exactly what he was seeing. A full-figured woman in her late 20s with red hair and big-framed glasses. My clothes were comfortable, loose, and plain. Forever 51, my younger sister Sophia had described my standard outfit of boxy tops and elastic-waist, wide-legged pants. If the look was off-putting to men, and it usually was, so much the better. I had no interest in attracting anyone. "Scorpions aren't supposed to come out in the daylight," I said unsteadily.
"We had an early thaw and a dry spring. They're looking for moisture. Swimming pool's going to draw 'em out."
He had a lazy, easy way of talking, as if every word had been simmered for hours over a low flame. Breaking our shared gaze, the stranger bent to retrieve the glue gun. As he handed it to me, our fingers touched briefly and I felt a little jab of response beneath my lower ribs. I caught his scent, white soap and dust and sweet wild grass.
"You'd best change out of those,"
he advised, glancing at my open-toed flats.
"You got boots? Running shoes?"
"I'm afraid not," I said. "I'll have to take my chances." I noticed the camera he had set on one of the patio tables, a Nikon with a pro-level lens, the metal barrel edged with red. "You're a professional photographer?" I asked.
"Yes, ma'am."
He had to be one of the second shooters hired by George Gantz, the wedding photographer. I extended my hand. "I'm Avery Crosslin," I said in a friendly but businesslike tone. "The wedding coordinator." He gripped my hand, the clasp warm and firm. I felt a little shock of pleasure at the contact.
"Joe Travis."
His gaze continued to hold mine, and for some reason he prolonged the grip a couple of seconds longer than necessary. Unaccountable warmth swept over my face in a swift tide. I was relieved when he finally let go. "Did George give you copies of the timeline and shot list?" I asked, trying to sound professional. The question earned a blank look. "Don't worry," I said. "We've got extra copies. Go to the main house and ask for my assistant, Stephen. He's probably in the kitchen with the caterers." I fished in my bag for a business card. "If you have any problems, here's my cell number." He took the card.
"Thanks, but I'm not actually—"
"The guests will be seated at 6:30, I said briskly. "The ceremony will begin at 7 and finish with the dove release at 7:30, and we'll want some shots of the bride and groom before sunset, which happens at 7:41.
"Did you schedule that too?"
Mocking amusement glinted in his eyes. I shot him a warning glance. "You should probably spruce up before the guests are up and out this morning." I reached into my bag for a disposable razor. "Here, take this. Ask Stephen where there's a place you can shave and—"
"Slow down, honey. I have my own razor."
He smiled slightly.
"Do you always talk so fast?"
I frowned, tucking the razor back into my bag. "I have to get to work. I suggest you do the same."
"I don't work for George. I'm commercial and freelance. No weddings."
"Then what are you here for?" I asked.
"I'm a guest. Front of the grooms."
Stunned, I stared at him with wide eyes. The creepy, crawly heat of embarrassment covered me from head to toe. "I'm sorry," I managed to say. "When I saw your camera, I assumed—"
"No harm done."
There was nothing I hated more than looking foolish. Nothing. The appearance of competence was essential in building a client base, especially the upper-class clientele I was aiming for. But now, on the day of the biggest, most expensive wedding my studio and I had ever orchestrated, this man was going to tell his wealthy friends about how I'd mistaken him for the hired help. There would be snickers behind my back, snide jokes, contempt. Wanting to put as much distance as possible between us, I muttered, "If you'll excuse me."